Hey guys, Stacy here, We Grow Again. This is going to be another exciting episode about succulents. I not only grow veggies and herbs outside, but I also grow succulents inside and outside and all different kinds of other house plants. And I just want to go over succulents and how you can keep them healthy, just like these. Really easy without doing any work, guys. These have been growing so much, these little babies. Look at that little that's a little bean, jelly bean or something, and it's just taken off. Look at this. It's flopping over. I have to transplant it. It's just going nuts. And I just want to go over some tips with you and show you how you can get them to grow like this. I just kind of leave them alone, let them do their own thing. My variegated jade has 3 heads on it already. My elephant bush has been growing and taken off like bananas. It's going nuts. My little kitten plant, this girl is growing so much. She's beautiful, and I hardly water these. All their soil's pretty dry. This is a California sunset that's really pink. And then this is a little purple plant. So you can grow all different kinds inside, guys. These are echeverias hanging out in there with kalanchoes. I just planted this up, made a little arrangement here. And I did this a while ago because I really wanted to just combine them, so I really didn't have to do too much in taking care of them. You can see them right there, and it's filling out beautifully. Now, I only work with drainage. That's the #1 key to keeping succulents healthy. Your drainage, guys. You have to have drainage in your containers, and you have to have the right succulent soil mix. They have to be in a really good drainage mix. It's got to have perlite in it. It's got to be a sandy succulent soil mixture, and you will have these results. Now, I'm not saying that problems are not going to happen, because things happen. You can see the colors on my ghostie. You can see how blue and white she's getting, and I hardly do anything on them. Now, the #1 cause for succulent death is overwatering. Just don't water, Doesn't mean that they don't need water. Plants need water to survive. But in the house is going to be a lot less water than outside. So just make sure, no matter what pot size you have, you're letting that soil dry out completely till there's absolutely no moisture left in this soil. And then you can let it dry out. For a pot this size and with succulents this big, you can let that soil stay dry up to a week between waterings, up to 7 days, and they'll be fine. The bigger the leaves, the less water they need. Now, I know you're going to want to water, because I did when I first got into succulents a year ago, guys. I was watering like crazy, but I was losing all my succulents, and they weren't healthy. I thought that, a little bit of water is going to help them. I thought it was underwatering, and it turned out to be overwatering. So just back off. If you feel like you're not sure, back off on the water. They will come back from underwatering. What will happen is I underwater this one a lot because it's in a really tiny container. This was only the size of this when I first got it, and look at what I've got. In just about 4 months, maybe 5 months, she's been getting all new center growth in there, and she's getting really healthy. And what happens is they go dormant. They look dead. They lose their color. They dull out, and they just feel deflated. You can see these are plump, full of water. They're nice and sturdy. They have some hardness to them. They're not mushy. They're nice and firm. And that's what you want when you're growing succulents, guys. Now, the second reason is burning. It's getting too much sun. In Florida here, I'm in zone 9B. I can only give my succulents a good 7 hours. These are inside, so these get 6 hours of morning sun a day. You can see it's still coming in here. It's still early, and it's an eastern facing exposure, and they do great. Now, these are regular succulents for aloes and stuff like that. Now, I have aloe Walmsleys right here, and aloes tend to turn black in the sunlight. They do not like to be in direct sunlight. Indirect sunlight is perfect. They sit right here, and they get that shaded indirect sunlight from this window right here. I kind of move them around here and there, and you can tell just how green they are compared to what they look like in my last videos. You can tell they were really dark, and they're getting really green and growing now. I gotta water these. They have no water in them. That's an Aphelius I propagated. I love that house plant. And I want to take you outside because I want to show you what I'm growing out there. It's my little doggy's food. And I want to show you that, it's okay, guys. You can experiment with your succulents and figure out what you're doing. And excuse my laundry. It's been laundry day these past couple of days. You can see how all these jades are healthy. And these are regular green jades. Now, there's different kinds of jades, guys. There are pink jades, jade variegated jades, like the one inside. But there's also jades that are really, really intense in color. And they're orange and yellow. And those are the ones that require more sunlight. These are regular jades, and you can tell how close together they're growing. They're not stretching. This is the way they're supposed to look. They're not supposed to be red. If they're turning red, your regular jades on the ends. And now you can do that. It's just called stressing your plant. And you can stress them a little bit. That's fine. But you don't want the whole bottom leaf turning red and your whole leaf turning dark red, because then that's getting sunburned. That's what that means on your jades. This is a little kalanchoe, however you want to pronounce it. People pronounce it different ways. And this likes water, believe it or not. You can see the leaves are really thin, so it requires a little more water than these thicker leaf succulents. You can see how thick these leaves are. So these jades get water maybe once every 2 weeks to once every 3 weeks. And that's it. Especially this one, guys. I hardly water this jade. And the less you water, the healthier they're going to be. You can see that little red tip right there. Less water, the healthier they're going to be. Let them stay dry a good couple of days between waterings, and you're good to go. You can see all that new growth on them. I grow all these outside. There's all different kinds, from echeverias, crasulas. Look how big they're getting. No water. I just let them stay dry a good 3 days, 4 days, 5 days between waterings. A good week for the bigger ones. Now, these smaller ones are going to need more water. These smaller trees are little babies I propagated from the leaves. Every one of them are little babies from leaves individually. And what you want to do, guys, is just make sure you're putting them in a pot like this. You can see there's a nice root system on that. Do you see that when I pull it? It should be really big, that root system. And watering all the way to the bottom really encourages these roots to set like this. And you want to water your container all the way through to the bottom at this stage when they're this tiny, because it's really going to encourage. Look, I'll take this one out. See how that doesn't really have a root system on it? It's because I held back on the water a little too long. These bigger ones are only going to need water, once every 7 to 10 days. These little ones, you're going to have to only let them stay dry maybe 2-3 days at max between the waterings. So soak your soil all the way through. Make sure this soil is dry completely out to the bottom. No moisture left in that soil. You can either stick your finger in or a stick, and if you come out with a little bit of moisture or you feel that on your finger, do not water. If you don't think it's ready or you think there's still moisture in it and you're second guessing yourself, all you need to do is back off on the watering. I know it's tough. I've done it plenty of times. I've overwatered, and I just don't want you to do it, guys. Let me take this towel down. Sorry. But you can see how big these little babies are getting. There's 3 of them here. Look. 4. That's crazy. And that's because I've been soaking my soil all the way down to the bottom. Even for these littler ones, that's fine. They're going to develop a nice root system that way. Soak it down to the bottom for any succulent you're growing. And these get the same sunlight. In Florida, I can't give any succulents, no matter if they're full sun or not. Even these kalanchoes, they get no more than 7 hours of direct sun a day, because in Florida it's just too intense. You can tell how big they're getting. And that's it, guys. That's all I wanted to show you. If you want any videos on more succulents, or how to take the babies apart, or just anything you're struggling with, please let me know. Anything with vegetables, or just any houseplant you're growing, anything you want to know about, anything that I'm doing you want to know about that I'm not explaining, let me know. I would love to do this for you. This is a nice tray I put together of succulents. Check out nice they're filling out. And all I do, I want to show you for bug infestations, guys. I want to show you really quick, because this is the #1 thing with succulents. I want to take you on over to my table and show you. Now, I treat all my succulents on a preventative treatment with neem oil every 7 to 10 days. And I use it at a 1/4 teaspoon per 34-ounce sprayer. Or you can mix 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons per gallon of water and mix it in your spray or pour it in there, and then you're good to go. Put a couple drops of Dawn in with your neem so it incorporates the oil. This is an oil-based product, but it's organic, it's safe around you and your pets. I use it on all my herbs and veggies. You can spray it right up until harvest, so it's not harmful. It kills all them aphid eggs, spider mites, just caterpillars, all kinds of stuff, guys. Mold, fungus, mushrooms I was growing. It cut back on all that, and you can tell just how healthy my succulents are. And that's all I do. I spray on a preventative every 7 to 10 days. If you have an infestation, same mixture, either a tablespoon or 2, with a gallon of water, and then you could transfer it in your sprayer, or a 1/4 teaspoon per 34-ounce sprayer with your couple drops of Dawn. And then you can spray it for the first 3 days. Your foliage and your soil you can soak for the first 3 days. After that, see if the bugs have calmed down. If they have, then you can go on a preventative every 7 days, every 7 to 14 days. And then this is the potting mix I use. I use 50% succulent soil mix, which is this. It's a fast draining soil. Let me see. Yeah, I have some in there. So you can see how airy it is. This is already mixed with my 50% succulent soil that came in this bag here, and 40% perlite, which I buy in a 16-pound bag. It's really cheap that way. There's no nutrients in it either, no chemicals. And then I put 10% of my Coco Loco potting mix, which has organic matter in it and just natural bacteria that your plants need to grow. Now I also do an Epsom salt spray, foliage spray. I just spray my succulents with it, with my neem oil preventative spray, once every week. And then in the soil, I just do once a month. Add a tablespoon per gallon of water in here, and a 1/4 teaspoon per 34-ounce sprayer in there with magnesium. And that's it, guys. And the way I water is either with this for my little babies so that water doesn't splash around, or with this big container for the bigger ones. And I'll kind of show you how I do it real quick if you're interested. I got laundry all around here, so I'm so sorry. Now, I don't need to water much, but that one back there you can see is not really watered too much, so I'm going to give it a good water, which would help if the cap's open. And just give it a good spray. Try to aim at the roots, not the top of the rosette, especially for echeverias and stuff. And you just want to let it soak down, and then give it another good water and wait for it to drain. I want to show you guys how I do all my containers. I do everything this way. These, my trays up here, my containers here. Oh, that's not a succulent. Those are carrots. But kalanchoes, you don't got to really worry about getting them wet on top. You just soak it down until that water runs out of that bottom, guys. And then you know you're good to go for a while. See, there's no water coming out of this container yet, so I'm going to soak again. Just want to show you. If it's going to drain on me, what is going on here, guys? It must have been really dry. See them drain holes? It must have been so dry, that soil. Look how dry it was. It's not even draining. So I'm going to water again. You want to water until you see that water coming out of that bottom there. Then you know it's good enough. Okay, there we go. See it? See it starting to drain? You're good to go now. You see that water? You know you've watered enough. Now, if you got a saucer underneath it, like I have on most of my plants here, so I don't make a mess, and so nutrients don't go on the floor for my little puppy right here, say hi, Bam Bam. Say hi. Looking at Mommy's window at my rainwater. You're a good boy. But yeah, just make sure that water runs out of the bottom. Discard that tray on any water left over for the next 10 minutes, and you're good to go. Now, for these bigger ones, I really don't need to water this right now, this jade. It's kind of dry. See, that's dry. That soil's dry, so I'm okay. Now, you don't have to water right away. As soon as your soil dries out to the bottom, you do not have to water right away, especially for these bigger leaved ones, because these hold a lot more water than the little leafed ones. And these really only need water, like I said. I only water my jade maybe once every month to 3 weeks. You can see it's running out of the bottom. We're good to go. And that's it, guys. That's all I do. Now, I add some eggshells and magnesium in the soil, too. Like I said, you can water in the soil with that tablespoon per gallon of water with the magnesium. once a month, and then I pulsify some eggshells and throw them in there so they'd start disintegrating, and it's just going to give my plants that extra calcium it needs to produce and be healthy. And that's it, guys. I'll go over summer dormancy in another video. This is already too long. Hope you enjoyed my video and my succulents. Till next time, let me know if you need any help on growing your succulents. These guys are getting so big. Bye-bye.